Horror takes on many different forms, whether it be the horrors of what lies in the dark, the monsters that lay within our own mind, or the entities that we cannot understand. However, there is one type of horror that we never think of: the horrors of war. War itself is horror. Millions of people slaughtered every day for powers in control, for reasons they don't understand. Millions of lives lost due to battles. Millions of innocents lost due to these battles. And yet, no one seems to care, because war never changes. But because of this, a new monster has arisen from the fog. A monster similar to the Dredge, but as a matter of fact, is something completely different. It goes by only one name: the Horror. A monster with the flesh of man and the mechanical bits of their machines. The horror manifests itself with the war cries of anyone who stepped foot in the war. There's banners and flags from different brands. To call these people human anymore would be insane. Just like the Dredge, these manifest from the soldiers in the war who had to face terrible hardships, brought over into the new and improved trials by the entity. The horror is sure to destroy anything that stands in its way. Not much is known about it, but one thing is for sure. If you hear battle cries in languages you don't understand, you better run, 'cause the horrors of war can never be hidden from. In the entity's realm, every type of horror is welcome. The Horror is an average movement speed killer with the ability to use weapons against the survivors. With its new power, Terror of Battle. Terror of Battle starts off on a cooldown of 13 seconds, in which case the Horror is a normal M1 killer similar to the Dredge. However, once the power is off cooldown, the Horror has the ability to switch between 3 weapons, the first of which being Battle Cry. While not a weapon on its own, it has the power to terrify survivors that listen to its horrible screams. Battle Cry will force survivors in a 32 radius to scream in pure terror. This incurs a cooldown of 13 seconds. The Horror's second power is a small flamethrower. When pulling out the flamethrower, the Horror is able to burn survivors, causing marks to form on their bodies. Within these marks, the survivors will constantly be in agony, with their grunts of pain caused to be louder, as well as any pain inflicted upon them to be twice as damaging. But the biggest thing is that the Horror can use it on lockers and pallets to burn down any piece of safety that the survivors have. Whilst the lockers will disappear only temporarily, pallets are destroyed permanently. Finally, when all else fails, the Horror can pull out its rocket launcher. exploding in a 4.5-meter radius. Any survivor hit with a direct will be damaged for a full health state. Any survivor caught in the blast radius will not be damaged to full health state, but no matter what will suffer the new concussion status effect, whether they were hit with a direct or not. The concussion status effect will cause survivors to go deaf for a brief time while also blurring their vision, truly leaving the survivors with next to no option. If used on a breakable object, the object will break instantaneously, as well as rendering lockers temporarily useless. But if used upon a locker, it goes on a longer cooldown than usual. Instead of 13 seconds, it would be twice that length at 26. So use it wisely. The horror has many tricks up its sleeve. But unlike the dredge who likes to hide, the horror loves to reveal itself and show off its terror with its add-ons. Bloodstained clothing. This add-on will reveal the auras of all survivors affected by battle cry. Dented helmet. Any survivor hit with the rocket launcher will now suffer the blindness status effect, temporarily making them impossible to ignore. War crime. War criminal jacket. Upon all powers going on cooldown, the horror will become undetectable. Yellow add-ons. Dredge tentacle. The horror can manifest inside of survivor weapon lockers for a short amount of time. War banner. Any survivor who is caught within the radius of war cry will scream and have their auras revealed whilst being afflicted with oblivious. Burnt sleeves. Any survivor who is burnt by the flamethrower won't be downed or injured, but any hit they take will be twice as painful. In other words, you can instantly down them, but only if you manage to get the full duration of burn. Green add-ons. Propaganda poster. The horror can temporarily cause survivor weapons to become useless after using war cry for 6 seconds. Cold War symbol. When using war cry, survivors will become deafened for 3 seconds. Purple add-ons. 12-inch shotgun. The horror is able to launch a rocket launcher twice, but suffers the but suffers the 26-second cooldown no matter what. Greek helmet. Anyone caught within the blast radius of a rocket launcher will also suffer the incapacitated status effect. Iridescent add-ons. Iridescent rocket. When shooting a rocket launcher, no splash damage is able to be used. However, if a survivor is hit with a direct, they will be instantly downed. War crime list. The horror is able to. The cooldowns of all of the horror's powers are shorter, around 6 seconds. The horror is no longer able to directly damage with the rocket launcher. However, will still be able to inflict the concussive status effect. The flamethrower will now permanently damage the lockers, making them unable to be used effectively for hiding for the rest of the trial. And War Cry will inflict the oblivious status effect when activated. The horror comes with 3 new perks. The battlefield may be far away for the soldiers of the war, but your terror will always spread with Battlefield Nightmare. When a survivor witnesses you for the first time, gain a token. For every consecutive token gathered, survivors once 4 survivors gaze upon you, you gain 4 tokens. The next time you inflict a basic attack on a survivor, you lose all your tokens, but that survivor is marked, for they have witnessed the horrors unseen. The next time that survivor looks at you, they will scream out and reveal their aura for 3 seconds. This perk cannot be used for 30 seconds after its effect. Even though you may be stopped, the horrors of what you have done has lingered in your opponent's mind with PTSD. When the survivor completes the final generator in the trial, PTSD activates. If you have struck the obsession and they remain damaged at the end of the trial, when PTSD activates, then that survivor will scream and be inflicted with hindered, making them easy prey, for they have witnessed all the terrible things that they have done. This only works upon the obsession and cannot be used again. War is eternal. As long as humans struggle for power, there will be no escape, and you intend to keep battles going with parts remaining. When parts remaining is activated, parts remaining activates at the start of the trial. Every generator you kick will gain you a token. When you have gained 5 tokens, the perk will finally use its effect, and all generators will appear to start regressing. The first survivor who tries to repair the generator will be inflicted with the oblivious status effect. for 13 seconds. And of course, can't have a killer like this without a map. The map is an old battlefield, specifically Gettysburg, one of the bloodiest American battlefields of all time during the Great Civil War, when Americans fought each other over the rights of human beings, just the way the horror likes it. Keep your mind at peace and get ready for ultimate battlefield terror with this Dead by Daylight 2 chapter concept for the sequel of Dead by Daylight. So, how did I do? Was that better than my very first time making a concept? Please let me know. This is my very first concept for a new killer in Dead by Daylight. I have taken many liberties on this character, but believe it or not, this character wasn't made by me. This is actually a character within the Dead by Daylight canon already, and I feel like not bringing him into Dead by Daylight is kind of weird. We already have a monster who is able to manifest itself as the darkness within someone's own mind. And we have plenty of characters based off of all types of horror already. Why don't we have one based off of the horrors of war? Also, this killer has a flamethrower canonically, and I just really like that idea. But then again, I could be really wrong here, and this character may not be in the game for a reason. This is another part to my sequels, to my making the sequel series. Do you have any suggestions on how this killer should be done? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, do you think that me using an actual real life battlefield was a bad idea? I'm now just realizing in editing here that I probably shouldn't have done that. But, well, I'll leave that up for you to decide. If you think it's a good idea, then please let me know. If you think it's a really bad idea, then also let me know and tell me where it should take place. I would be very happy to hear your ideas. As always, I've been the Gamer Nerd, and look out for any more chapter concepts for my new game.